Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome in to Duval Daily, presented by JenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for being here. Sunday, November 30th. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Jaguars, Titans. Jags get it done, 25-3. What a game by your Jacksonville Jaguars. It wasn't pretty throughout the entire game, but it did feel pretty secure after the first couple of drives for your Jaguars to take first place in the AFC South. That is right. If you'd have asked me 3 weeks ago, Jaguars in first place after week 13, like no chance. Like, it's going to take a little bit longer than that for the Colts to fall apart, for the Jaguars to start surging. But hey, the Jaguars are in first place right now in the AFC South. They're in third place in the AFC. If the playoffs started today, they would host, of all teams, the Los Angeles Chargers. Yes, the same Chargers who they beat down 35-6 a few weeks back. The same Chargers who they hosted in the 2022 playoffs. We all know how that went. Pretty unbelievable stuff right now, and we're going to get into this football game here. We'll get more deep divey type videos over the next couple days, but just initial takeaways from this one. A little bit later than normal. Been watching some afternoon football, taking care of the kiddo, so having a good afternoon here in Jacksonville, Florida, after your Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans in really, impressive fashion. I know like I mentioned, the whole game wasn't pretty, but 25-3 over your arch nemesis when there was some trash talk throughout the week, some different things going on. You'll take it. You will absolutely take it. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out JenJag.com. Right now we have our Small Business Saturday through Cyber Monday sale, holiday sale, if you will. 40% off everything. JenJag.com, code Duval. That's 3 U's, DUUUVAL. JenJag.com. Help support the channel. Look good while doing it. So, Jags 25-3. 3 points scored by the Tennessee Titans, all on the very first offensive drive of the game for the Titans. We're going to dive into it. So, Trevor Lawrence, that's where we have to begin every conversation, because such a polarizing figure for whatever reason. And I understand the reasons at times, right? Like, you look back last week, Trevor Lawrence, extremely clutch, put up some numbers, but also unbelievable amount of turnovers last week. Guess what? Trevor Lawrence did not turn the ball over this week. Pretty important. I think that there was a lot to improve on from the second half of this game offensively, without question. But you look at what happened over a couple drives, 2-3 drives, first half, early second half. The Jaguars were kind of cooking a little bit, and Trevor Lawrence was a big part of that. They were able to attack the middle of the field, intermediate and deep, very successfully as an offense, and that's something you have not seen a lot from the Jaguars. You've started to see it more that Jakobi Meyers has arrived, and we'll definitely talk about what Jakobi Meyers did today. But Trevor Lawrence, definitely some kudos for him. 2 touchdowns. Was very tough running the football. Probably took some unnecessary hits overall in this game. I'm not going to put that solely on him. I think there were some coaching decisions that led to some hits on Trevor Lawrence. One in particular that led to some penalties on the Titans, Arden Key, who thinks that he kind of built the city of Jacksonville in a day. But that's neither here nor there at this point. Trevor Lawrence was 16 of 27, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8.5 yards per attempt. Pretty good, right? I don't think you can complain about the Trevor Lawrence outing today. Was every throw perfect? No. But again, lots of big throws down the field. I thought when this game was in the balance, which was honestly not for very long, thanks in large part to the Titans' complete lack of anything in any facet of the game. Outside of that, first drive and some of the second half, Trevor Lawrence and the offense looked in control when they needed to look in control. They put the Jaguars in a position, along with the defense, to really just make this a non-factor type of game in the second half. And yes, we've seen games where the Jaguars have been up like that and fallen apart. You don't have to look any further than what happened against the Houston Texans. But the Titans, for as much promise as Cam Ward potentially has and as much talent as Jeffrey Simmons has and a couple of the other pieces, they're just not there yet. And the Jaguars showed you that in a big way in this game. Again, plenty of time for Trevor Lawrence in some big moments. He did get sacked 3 times. The Titans did kind of find some life on the defensive side of the ball in this game. But for the most part, that was once the game was already decided. The Titans offense had nothing for the Jaguars defense in this game, for the most part. There is one little area we can talk about, but I think kudos goes out to Trevor Lawrence for playing a fairly clean game, playing a tough game, putting some yards up, attacking the middle of the field, and scoring some touchdowns. And big shout out to Jacoby Myers, not only for this performance, but just what he has done in a Jacksonville Jaguars uniform from an efficiency standpoint is almost unprecedented. And it's only been 4 games, but it's been really impressive. 6 targets, 6 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown today, along of 50 yards. I mean, again, everything thrown his way is caught, whether it's contested, whether he's open, whether it's a great play drawn up by Liam Cohen, who deserves a lot of credit for this game as well. It didn't matter. Jacoby was answering the bell, answering the call in a big way. And so was Brenton Strange. 3 catches on 4 targets, 45 yards, and a touchdown. Big time performance from a tight end who wasn't super heavily featured in this game, but did the job. And there were some moments I thought that he didn't look quite himself from an explosiveness standpoint, but shout out to both of those guys. Jacoby Myers and Brenton Strange, to me, are your top 2 targets right now. Again, big shots down the middle of the field to several different receivers. Parker Washington only was able to make 1 grab in this game. He did get injured. The 1 grab he did make was awesome. 26-yard catch down the field, big time play, going down and catching the ball. Not a greatly thrown ball by Trevor Lawrence, but Parker Washington made that not matter for that one. And there was a lot of guys that made a lot of nice plays for the Jaguars passing offense in this one. And to me, Brian Thomas Jr. also a story. Returning to the field, 2 catches on 3 targets. Both catches very nice. Like, it's good to just see him back on the field looking comfortable. But one thing we've talked about with Brian Thomas Jr. this year, and one thing I believed and a lot of people believed was missing at times, was effort. You saw maximum effort. Brian Thomas Jr., big block down the field on a big play by the Jaguars offense. That was impressive to me. Seeing him lay a defender on their butt, that was really cool. And now, one thing that needs to be discussed when we do talk about kind of the offensive stagnation later in the game and the run game not really getting going, offensive line injuries. Walker Little left with concussion. You entered the game with injuries at right guard. Both your starter Patrick McCary and your backup Chuma Edoga out. So you had Wyatt Milam and Cole Van Lanen in the game at times today for long stretches of time. And the Titans, if they do have one thing, it's Jeffrey Simmons, and he's an unbelievable talent. And they've got some physical talent up front on their defensive line, Jeffrey Simmons and some of the other guys that can make life difficult for you if you're not firing on all cylinders up front. I think that's what you saw a little bit in this game at times when the Jaguars offense got stagnant. There were also some other miscues, some things to clean up. Trevor Lawrence, receivers, blocking, run game, definitely things to clean up. But when you can beat a divisional opponent 25-3, in a game that you need to win, to take the division lead, to get to third place in the AFC. It was about as good as it gets. And Parker Washington, he did leave with a hip. Don't know where we're going to be at with that. Hopefully he'll be okay. Ross Matisic dealt with injury. Devon Hamilton had to snap an extra point as the backup long snapper, but Matisic came back and he got into a fight, and Logan Cook getting physical, probably on that punt return, didn't need to take on the physical hit that he took on there. But, you know, you love seeing somebody who is a punter who you never expect a punter to really be involved in the physicality of the game, really not backing down. And then you saw so much of just sloppiness late in the first half and then into the second half, with kind of the discipline on both sides, both teams getting after it, being chippy. And I definitely think you can point to the Titans for being more chippy. Arden Key causing a ruckus a little bit, kind of getting a cheap shot on Trevor Lawrence, and then coming on the sideline, Anton Harrison taking him on, and there's penalties all over the place throughout a lot of the game for personal fouls and unnecessary roughness and all that type of stuff. But still, 25-3. I think you can hang your hat on that. I think you can hang your hat on 8-4. If I'd have told you the Jaguars would be 8-4 after falling to 5-4, probably would have called me a liar. I mean, I think a lot of fans were ready to put the Jaguars to bed for the season, and the Jaguars have come roaring back. And a player in specific who has come roaring back is Josh Hines-Allen. And I think he's had a good year all year. A lot of Jaguars fans don't agree. But even the Jaguars fans who don't agree with that cannot deny his impact on this game or his impact on the game over the last month of the season since the bye. Josh Hines-Allen, 2 sacks in this one. Another tackle for loss, creating a lot of pressure, as he has been doing throughout the year, playing good run defense, as he has been doing throughout the year and throughout his career. Big time performance from Josh Hines-Allen, and you love to see it against the Titans. Absolutely. Ventrell Miller, forced fumble later in the game. LeQuint Allen, big forced fumble earlier in the game on special teams, forced the fumble and recovered the fumble. And you also, if you don't know about LeQuint Allen a little bit, go look at what Jeffrey Simmons had to say after the game. That was a very, very intriguing commentary there by Jeffrey Simmons. I do want to shout out Buster Brown for his physicality in this game. I thought he absolutely deserved a shout out. A lot of other guys played well throughout this game, but we will continue to review the tape and get after it over the next couple days. But again, Jaguars 8-4 on top of the AFC South. They are currently tied with the Colts, but they have the tiebreaker thanks to having a better record against common opponents than the Colts. And of course, the Colts come to Jacksonville next weekend for a 1 p.m. showdown for the division lead. Both teams are tied right now with the same record. If the Jaguars win that game, not only will they have a 1-game lead on the Colts, but they will also have the tiebreaker. So it's really like a 1.5 game lead. That's pretty big. Now, my biggest question exiting this game is, had the game gone a little bit differently and stayed a little bit close, would the Jaguars' run defense have actually held up? The Titans ran the ball pretty effectively today. They just had to completely abandon the run due to, obviously, the game script. But they ran the ball well, and you don't want to see opposing teams get the ground game going, especially with the Colts up next on the schedule, because that's what the Colts live and die by. Jonathan Taylor in that ground game, getting it going in a big way. So that's my question. We're going to review the tape, talk about it more tomorrow and Tuesday, start getting ready for the Indianapolis Colts a little bit later in the week. Celebrate this one, though. Victory Monday tomorrow morning. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe, and y'all have a good one.